everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Prowess Goes Live, where we are helping online business managers start their career in business and start really scaling their career in business. I am thrilled to have everyone here today. Beginning of the year. Like last week was all about goal setting, and this week we're taking it to the next level with our special guest. So excited. Okay, as always, let's do a starter question. Starter question is, do you have a goal for 2025? Yes or no? And if so, what? Can't wait to hear this. Put it into chat. Do you have a goal for 2025? And if yes, put it into chat. I love the people. I knew that there would be one. I love the people who say exercise. I love that. Yes, come back to me. Come back to me in 3 months, because I am going to need all of the reinforcement so that I stay on my own track there. Cooking dinner. More cooking and less of eating out. Yep, same. Oh, love it. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Ashley Connell, CEO and founder of Prowess Project. What does Prowess Project do? We help women train to be online business managers who think about it as a cross between a COO and a VA for the micro business. So they're doing, 150 to 3 million, and they need that ops backbone. And that's really what the online business manager becomes. So excited to have our guest today. So I met our guest, probably back in October. And not only did we just hit it off immediately from just her vibe and her energy and her no BS style, but every time I speak to her, I feel like I have notebooks full of takeaways and action items and things to go think about in our business that's only going to make us bigger, better, stronger. And so I was really excited to bring her on today for really 2 reasons. Well, the first one I already said. The second one is she focuses on productizing your services business, which we'll talk about that in a second. And then also, she is thinking ahead. She's thinking ahead for you and all of your clients and all in women-owned businesses on how do you exit your business, which I think a lot of people don't think about until it's too late, or just assume that they can't do whatever it is that they want to get done. So without further ado, Kiley Peters, welcome.
Thank you, Ashley. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yes. Oh, so excited to have you. Okay, so Kiley, first question that we always ask, give us the quick and dirty. How did you get from, first couple of jobs out of school or first couple of jobs to what you're doing today?
Wow. Okay. Well, let's see, because I have a very varied journey. Okay.
We love that.
I'll give you the down and dirty real fast. So I graduated undergrad before digital marketing was a thing. Facebook came out my freshman year of college. So there were no degrees in digital marketing. I started my career. I had moved I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I went to Marquette as undergrad. I went to San Diego for a hot second. Fun foreshadowing. My very first job out of college was for the Entrepreneurial Management Center at San Diego State University. I, at the time, did not know how to spell entrepreneur, nor did I know what an entrepreneur was. So foreshadowing is a very funny thing. I went from San Diego. Then I spent almost a decade in Chicago, and I bounced around to a couple of different agencies. I worked in the marketing department of different agencies. Then I went to account management of different agencies. I worked at agencies, ad tech companies. I went client side to the Second City for a hot second. I fell in love with comedy, sketch and improv comedy. And then in 2016, I was given an opportunity to become a partner at a boutique PR and content marketing agency. After about 6 months, realized that that was not going to work out, and launched Brainchild Studios, my digital content marketing agency, in September of 2016. And then exited that at the end of 2022, and launched Rain 9, my current consultancy, at the beginning of 2021. So we can talk more about what it means to straddle two businesses at once. Works out better for some than others. And now we are celebrating almost 4 years with Rain 9.
Wow. You weren't kidding when you said varied. And what is really, and we love that here. At Prowess, we call that having a patchwork quilt-like background. So instead of like starting off as, the coordinator and then the manager and then the director and VP, and like that linear path that used to be the only way things happen. I love that yours is so varied, but also so accomplished. Like, you've done the damn thing. You've started 3 businesses, or been a leader of 3 businesses, sold or exited one.
I was a partner at a boutique PR agency. I started my own agency, exited that. I started a membership that didn't work out as planned. And so I guess I've officially launched 3 or 4 businesses. And now I'm very happy to say that I'm only running one. I'm very happy to say that.
So good. Okay, so talk to us about your current Rain 9. I want to understand, who are you helping and what pain point it is that you're solving?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the last 4 years, we have focused on helping women launch their consultancies. So we've worked in a lot of different industries, all of them in the professional services space. Right now, we found a really sweet spot in the sales and marketing space. So for women who are leaving corporate and want to launch their consultancy, want to stop making money for the man, have a very tangible, marketable skill set, but don't know anything about running a business, we have had a lot of success helping women get up and running, own their time, build and productize their services so that they can live the life they want. Because we believe that when women have autonomy over their lives, the world is a better place. And I could go on a whole rant about that. But we won't dive into that just yet unless you really want to. So that is what we've been doing for the last 4 years. On the back burner, what people may or may not know is we've also been helping a couple of women work on exiting their businesses. And so we are now officially at the beginning of 2025 here, launching our exit planning services. We are calling it the Intentional Exit Framework. And we are specifically working on supporting women-owned agencies. A lot in the marketing and comms space, but the reality is that this work applies to anybody with an agency model. So we're very excited to be doing that strategic work because, as you and I just spoke about, the reality is, and you mentioned this in your intro, exit strategy is just good business strategy. So everybody with a business, day one, you should be thinking about what you want to do. But the reality is that so many people launch a business and they're like, I just have to figure out what I'm building first. And that's okay. That's totally normal and totally fine. But I'm telling you that once you start to think about what the end looks like, you will build. So that doesn't mean that you're trying to exit tomorrow. If that's the case, then to your point, it's probably too late. But in a perfect case, you're looking 3 to 5 years in advance, and that's a long tenure to be making strategic moves. So, it's never too soon to start thinking about it.
I love that because it's simple. Figure out where you want to go and work backwards. And that's the easiest way in order to get somewhere. So I want to really dive into 2 things today. First, productizing your services. That is one thing that all of our online business managers are dying to learn more about. We help them in our program start to do that, but they have such a variety of different skill sets that's an expert like you in that, sharing exactly how and why to productize is going to be hugely valuable. So first, can you just tell us what that means and why it's so important to do that?
Absolutely. I will die on the hill demanding that people need to productize their services in a professional service-based business. What does that mean? Productizing your services basically means that you have gotten very clear on your audience, the problems they're willing to pay to solve, and you've built a solution to solve that problem instead of trading time for money. So the reality is that think about it, like we'll break it down. If your toilet is broken, do you care if the plumber comes in and he spends 5 seconds or 3 hours? No, you want it solved and you want it solved as fast as possible, right? If you are hiring somebody to, put a roof on your house, do you care if it took them 1 hour or it took them 40 hours? No, you just want to know when it's going to happen and you want to know it's going to be done, right? Nobody cares how much time you're spending to solve their problem. We've all heard that old adage of like a big manufacturing plant had an issue. They hired a consultant to come in. He was there for 15 minutes. He pushed one button and it all fixed. And he's like, here's my invoice for $1,500. And they're like, that's insane. You're charging $1,500 for 15 minutes of work? He's like, no, charging $1,500 for spending 30 years to figure out how to fix your problem in 15 minutes. So again, it's not about trading time for money. It's about solving problems and productizing the solutions so that you can create repeatable systems and processes that allow the owner to get out of the day-to-day operations and delivery of the services.
Okay, love this. And I think I am going to learn so much on this today. So with our online business managers, oftentimes they're a lot like your consultants that you work with who are starting their business. They have worked in corporate before and now they want to go off on their own. And as they are figuring out who they want to serve, what they want to offer, and get some testimonials under their belt, how do you recommend that they not trade time for money at the beginning?
So what we typically say is, again, getting super clear on your audience and the problems they're willing to pay to solve, and then understanding what that value translation is. So we'll take your OBMs, for example. If they decide, I'll use myself as an example, that they're going to work with a woman business owner, entrepreneur, instead of maybe saying, hey, I'm available 10 hours a week. Now I know I have 10 hours a week I need to fill, right? But if instead it's, I know that I'm going to solve your social media problems. I know I'm going to handle all of your HR inquiries. I know whatever it is, bundle those as solutions. So if let's say you've got somebody who's in a rapid growth hiring stage, and you have an HR background. I don't know why I'm picking this because I don't have an HR background, but okay. So you could say your challenge right now is you're trying to find, your fractional CMO. Great. I will go find you your fractional CMO in the next 90 days and I will train them. I will get them up and running and we will get them going. Great. I don't care how much time you spend doing it. All I care is that you do it in the time frame you told me and that it's successful. Right? And then we're all on the same page in terms of what that looks like. If you bring on a fractional CMO, I do not care how many hours a week you work on my account. I want to know that I have 10 solid discovery calls each month that are sales qualified leads. Does not matter to me how you get there.
Okay, fascinating. So how does someone who is new to doing all of this de-risk? Because I think what I have seen happen, myself included, and then also in the OBM space is they will come up with these beautiful packages. Yes, I will get you 10 qualified leads and completely undercharge. $1,500 or whatever it is. And then they're spending 40 hours a week when they're actually doing all of the work in order to get there. So how do you suggest they hedge that bet?
Yep. So we have a spreadsheet that we work with all of our clients on. We call it the AGI calculator, and AGI meaning adjusted gross income. Because in running your business, you have revenue minus cost of goods sold, COGS, equals AGI. And that's the amount of money you have to run the rest of your business, right? So that's what we're trying to figure out. Every time we go through productizing a service, we start by mapping out the process. So first, let's say it's the 10 qualified leads, right? Let's just use that as an example. If you're the expert in doing that, your OBMs are the expert. They're like, I got this. I could do this in my sleep. Awesome. Great. Now I want you to map out exactly how you're going to do that. First, you might need to build the strategy. Then you might need to figure out what content you're going to create. Then you might need to figure out what time you need to do the actual outreach, blah, 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 whatever that is. I want you to map out every single line item. And then we're going to toss that into a spreadsheet. And then we toss that into the spreadsheet and we say, okay, I give myself a range, because again, we're not trading, we don't want to trade time for money, but you still are putting time into the process, right?
Right.
So, and at first it becomes a little bit more laborious, but the idea is that over time, you create templates and systems that allow you to move faster. So it's not just about time. But again, that's why focusing on one specific problem allows you to create those templates and processes to move faster. So the first time you do it, it might not be as seamless as you want, right? But we put every single line item of this process into the spreadsheet. We give ourselves a range of how much time it's going to take us. And then we give ourselves a starting hourly rate just to make sure that we're not undercharging. And then we start to calculate that and see how all that shakes out. So I also have a frequency column in there. So it's like, if I'm going to do LinkedIn outreach and it's a monthly retainer and it's, I do this 3 hours a week, great. Then that frequency is going to be 4 because I'm doing it for 4 weeks, right? Or whatever that math ends up being. So we go through every single line item. This also gives you an opportunity to say, okay, I'm the only person that can do this, but Susie down the street can do this. My OBM can do this. My VA can do this. And I can outsource and automate and delegate that. So it allows you to start changing all of those different levers so you can start to play with what those productized rates look like. And then as you go through it, ideally you're building templates as you go through this so that it's rinse and repeat. And if you're the founder, then you can start building out processes that you can make yourself replaceable.
I really, really love that. And gosh, everyone who is listening who's an OBM here, I'm going to be thinking about that a lot and talk about it more and more because I have some ideas on how an OBM can specifically translate into their business, especially when just starting out. So thank you.
Well, and let me also say that I will say I've done this exercise with, I don't even know how many women entrepreneurs, and every single one says, oh, I'm not charging enough. Oh. And so when that becomes the case, then you have one of two things to do. You either figure out how you can delegate more, or you figure out how you can add additional value that doesn't take your time so you can justify the price.
Ding, 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 ding. That last one, I think, is really, really huge. We talk about this a lot. I think for a lot of OBMs, especially who are starting out, their brain thinks in spreadsheets.
And I love them.
Yes, yes.
So do I.
And mine does not. And so I am like all of their customers whose brain thinks in pictures and in spider webs. Mm-hmm. And so to me, if you were to tell me that I needed to model something out, I would be like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. And that is going to take me weeks. Whereas for you, it could take 2 hours. And so to your point, it's all about the value, about the value and who, and again, to your point, who you are serving.
Yep. Everything comes down to getting very clear about your audience, very clear about the problems that they have and the ones that they're willing to pay to solve, and then building the solution for that problem.
Oh, I love it so much. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, but do you have any like success stories or anything that you can share of some of your clients that maybe productized and grew or achieved their goals or whatever it was?
Yeah. Our very first one-on-one client, which we started working with at the beginning of 2022, sales consultant. Within the first, I think, 2 years of building her business, she had built up to a team of 12, had increased revenue 700% year over year. And as a single mom of 2 little boys by choice, she just this past Christmas, like holiday break, took those 2 little boys to Thailand for a couple of weeks. So, I mean, like, she's killing it. She's doing great. We had another woman that we were working with last summer. She came to us, was running an agency, realized she didn't like doing the work, but she liked doing sales. And I was like, why are you not doing sales for agencies? They don't like doing sales. And she's like, oh, wow. And so within 60 days, she rebranded, launched a new website, signed 4 new clients, and started a wait list. So those are a few of the things that we're seeing for our clients. But again, it all comes to getting clear on your audience and building solutions and selling the solutions instead of trading your time.
I really, really like that. And again, I want everyone to really hear you got to get clear on who your customer is. And what does that mean? You need to go talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
You need to
Audience
go.
research.
It is critical. In our program, OBM University, we talk about it all the time. And it's one of our first steps because you can't, to your point, you can't really get anywhere without it.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I'll toss this out there too, because the reality is when you productize your services, generally speaking, you can add more value than for a lower price than you would typically be able to. So we have a program that we have now. So we have this one-on-one program that I work one-on-one with people for a year to help them launch their consultancy. We did that for 2 years. And then I was like, okay, how do I package this up to bring it to more people at a different price level? So because I'd already had 2 years of reps doing it, we were able to then take it, bring it to an online cohort model. And then I brought in additional guest speakers so they could learn from other people instead of just me. And then they were able to learn from their peers. So again, now we're bringing all of this value to them in this, what is now a 12-week program. But we have over 15 different speakers. They've got a cohort of people. They've got an online community. And there's still a lot of value in the one-on-one programs I'm doing. But we've added this as an icing on top for those one-on-ones. And we've created it as a standalone offer for people who have a little bit lower budget. So you can create so much more value when you focus on just like continuously refining, iterating, and making the thing better, solving the problem better.
Without a doubt. And everyone who is listening here, I want you to be thinking about this with 2 hats on. Your CEO hat on for your own OBM business, right? But also your customers. What I hear over and over and over from OBMs and CEOs alike is they don't know who they're selling to. And every sales call is wild, wild west where they're selling something custom. And this is exactly what Kiley solves for. So if you think that, hey, not to like pitch Kiley right off the top, but like if you think that if your clients, like this is something that they really need to talk through all of this, like go.
Yeah,
Run,
we
do
would
not
love to help
walk.
them. Yeah, for sure.
Because I think too, what I see a lot is CEOs, the focus gives them clarity and calm. And then from clarity and calm, you can create the KPIs, which then makes the OBMs feel safe.
Yeah.
And then you can move forward.
Entirely. I mean, as a serial entrepreneur and as somebody who works with a lot of entrepreneurs, I mean, yes, almost everybody's a visionary. We talk about visionaries versus integrators, right? your OBMs, generally speaking, tend to fall into that integrator role, which is necessary. But so many visionaries, just like you said, think in pictures and spider webs. And so without that clarity, it makes it difficult to streamline and find forward progress. But again, clarity comes with audience, because at the end of the day, who are you selling to? You're selling to someone. That's what you got to get clear on. And then figuring out how you're unique, how you're different. And a lot of people talk about this, and I could go on and on and on about niches, because so often people are like, well, it's an industry niche, or it's a this niche. There are an infinite number of ways that you can niche down. Like, I have heard of an agency that only focused on quilting clients. My agency used to focus on brands that targeted millennial moms. I just spoke to another agency this week that focuses on marketing to food-based brands, right? We're talking to women that are in the sales and marketing and consulting space. Like, there's so many different ways you can niche down, like where they are in their customer journey, what their end focus is, who their user is, like what their growth goals are, like whatever it is. Maybe you find them at that sweet spot where they're going from a team of like a solopreneur to they're ready to scale. Like, there's just a million different ways you can niche down, but it all comes to messaging and finding that right audience exactly where they're at. Because if they're like, I'm a solopreneur and I'm cool, I only ever want to stay a solopreneur, then talking to them about building a team is not gonna land, right? So it's all about getting really clear on who your audience is. And when I have these conversations with people, everyone's like, but I could serve these people and I could serve these people. I'm like, I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm like, I'm so versatile. I can do all the things. It's like, that's so great, honey. How's that working for you?
It's not.
It's not. It's never working for them. I can't tell you how simple it becomes. Not easy, but simple it becomes when you're like, this is my 1-lane highway. I'm telling you, makes it so easy. Simple, not easy. I shouldn't say easy. It's not easy, but it's simple.
I say that all the time.
Declutters.
It's simple, not easy. Yes. Declutters. Such a good way of putting it. So then on the okay, let's shift gears here on the exit, because that is another thing that I think our OBMs could go to their clients and ask about and be that resource for them to connect with a Kiley or something, so that they start thinking about exits. But are you seeing any correlation between more aligned, successful exits and a clear niching strategy?
Oh, for sure. One, it's an easier sell when you have a niche, generally speaking. I mean, you can make some arguments for generalists, but I mean, let's think about it. If you have a very specific niche, it is a lot easier to identify potential buyers. So I think we might have talked about this in our last conversation, but just like we're talking about right now for all the OBMs listening, thinking about who your target audience is as you build the business that you're running, and to make that a lot easier for you. Great. That's the business you're running. Now I want you to think about that business as an asset. And this is true for your clients as well, right? So now you are building an asset. Now, who do you want to be the end target audience of your asset? Right? So when you start to think, who do I want to acquire me someday, or a strategic acquisition, or whatever it is, how can I build my business asset to be their no-brainer acquisition? That changes your entire business strategy. So again, it's all about audience, and it's a twofold way, right? Like, who is the audience that you are serving in your business? Great. Now, who do you want to be the audience to acquire the business asset that you're building? And that changes the game.
Oh gosh, I really love thinking about that. And in your experience, when people come to you, and I know that you said that this is a newer offer, but how far out are they from a sale?
a sale? It really depends on like so many things. What I will say is to all of the owners out there, you don't want to be in a place of trying to sell or get out of your business when you're in a place of scarcity and desperation. So when things are not going well, when cash flow is down, when you are totally burnt out, that is when a lot of people try to exit. And at the end of the day, you got to do what's right for you. But if you're looking for a sale, it's not going to be, you will not have the upper hand.
Right.
That's not what we want to see. We want to see you go out on top. So that just might mean that you're in a valley right now and you got to take a minute to build back up to the peak, and with intention. So what we say is, like, in a perfect world, you're looking 3 to 5 years in advance. Now, many owners aren't, especially of smaller businesses. Many of smaller businesses are looking at like 1 to 2 years. But what we don't want to see is anything less than a year, because that's really difficult to make any real transactions or any real transformation in the business to prepare it accordingly. So it's never too early to start planning. And looking like 3 to 5 years out is ideal. If that seems unrealistic for people, then you want to be looking at least 12 to 24 months in advance.
I love it. So, talk to me about your framework. Is that more of a checklist of these are all the things that we need to go get done? Or how are you working with clients for that offer?
Mhm. So the framework we've built is called the intentional exit. Intentional is an acronym. It is long, and I can share it if you want, but essentially, like, there's really like 6 main levers that you can pull and push in your business to increase the value of the business. And
Mm,
that's one element of it, right? But for us, as we think about the intentional exit, there's a lot of other things that I think oftentimes get overlooked when thinking about exiting your business. Things like, what is your intent? What is the alignment? What legacy do you want to be leaving? Like, the legacy you want to be leaving is not necessarily going to increase the value of your business, but it's going to be important to you as you make
yeah,
this huge transition, right?
yeah.
So we have a checklist that we are building out, and will be available soon, that we call the intentional exit checklist. And I believe it's 54 different check marks on there of all things that you need to either consider or think through or build within the business. But the 6 main ways that you can really build value in the business, we believe, are productization, because I really believe that it's very difficult to build a service-based entity that is scalable without productization. Making sure you have the right people in place. It's difficult to exit a business if everything is reliant on you. We don't want it to be owner dependent. We want to make sure that there's a strong leadership team in place. We're looking at profits of the business, because revenue is a vanity number. Profits are really what matter. But we also want to make sure that you as the owner are optimizing that taxable income so that you're not getting hosed on taxes. Pipeline, making sure you have strategic marketing initiatives in place so that you're sustainably filling that pipeline. You have a sales process that's documented and scalable and repeatable. Where am I at? Productization, people, pipeline, process, making sure that you have all of your processes documented. Oh my goodness, what is planning? Is strategic planning, and making sure that you are strategically, like, that you have a plan. And then I believe the last one is prepare prepper to be prepared.
Preparation.
There you go.
To be
Thank
prepared.
you. To be prepared. Yes. Oh my gosh. I want to make sure I'm not missing a big one here. Yes. Okay. So productization, process, people, pipeline, profits, and planning. Those are really the biggest levers that you could be pulling here, to make sure that you are building and maximizing the value of your business. Everything else in our intentional exit checklist is to make sure that you are doing it on your terms.
Oh man, so great. And you mentioned this statistic on our call. How many or what percentage of businesses actually sell?
Currently, depending on which stats you look at, they'll say that between 20 to 30% of businesses that go to market actually sell. And those are only the ones that are
Go to
listed.
market.
That's not all businesses. Those are only the ones that go to market. So if you think about that, statistically speaking, any owner out there, at least right now with those stats, you should not be waiting to pay yourself. You should not be waiting for a giant payday at the end of the rainbow, because statistically speaking, it's not likely to happen. However, the number one reason it doesn't happen is because of poor planning. So when we plan accordingly and we build with intention, we have a higher likelihood of increasing that number as a whole.
So true. I really, again, love that you said it's a reminder for myself, even like you got to be paying yourself what you're worth along the way.
Yep.
Have
And
you
there's a
seen
lot of
some?
tax savings tips to do that too. So, but again, and it's a process, right? Like, do we all want 6-figure salaries? Of course we do, right? And if you're there, awesome. If you're not there yet, that's okay too. But you know, it's a process, and you also want to again make sure that you're minimizing your taxable income and not trying to just totally pay yourself on salary, because that's your highest taxable source of income.
Yeah. Kylie was like, Ashley, are you doing X, Y, and Z? And I was like, no, I'm not. I need help. Desperately.
That's okay though. Like, you're not alone. Most people are like, what is that? How do I do that? How come my accountant didn't say this to me? Because
That was what I
that's
said.
not their job. That's what most people
Yeah.
say, right? The reality is that most accountants, not all, but most, are not tax strategists. Accountants and bookkeepers are there to like run your numbers, make sure that everything historically adds up and is clean data, which is very important, by the way. But most of them are not forward looking, and most of them are not looking at tax saving strategies, because frankly, they don't care how much money you make in taxes because it doesn't impact them, which is fine, you know, like, but
fair enough. It's
it
not
takes
in their scope.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of, I've said this before and I really nerd out on it, but I really believe tax strategy is like so sexy. It's like process and tax strategy. So sexy.
It gets me every single time, because then here I am again. You say tax strategy, and I wish I could snapshot what is coming on, like, up to my brain right now. It is like doom and gloom and a small closet full of spreadsheets and just I don't know.
Sad. That's
Oh
so
my
funny,
God.
because in my head, when I think about tax strategy, it's like rainbow sunshine and like frolicking in a field.
And see, and that is why value on who you sell to. Like, point blank. Okay, we have 5 minutes with you left, which is absurd. Time just flies. I say this every time I talk to you. I'm like, I could have 10 more hours. If anyone has any question, please put it into chat. I do have a couple other questions. One thing that we ask all the time, because you're a small business owner who is scaling and always thinking about this. What are some gaps that you see in your own business that you're working towards this year?
Yeah. So we are very much still building as a business. I love operations and systems and processes, but it is something that we are consistently working on improving. You know, as we are launching this program, as I'm sure most people can relate, it's difficult to build and sell and deliver all at the same time. So,
Yes.
always looking for ways to replicate me and leverage technology to do that. And we're also working on building a like a sustainable like referral pipeline, because that's always our best lead generator.
Absolutely. I'm hearing that more and more and more and more. And I say this quite a bit, especially for professional services businesses, ones that aren't huge. You don't need 400 customers.
Oh, I can't take 4. I don't want them.
Right. You need 4, you need 10, you need whatever that number is. But it's not absurd. And so it's like, okay, so how do we just focus and get that done? So, okay.
Well,
wonderful.
And to your point, Ashley, with that, again, getting super clear on your audience. You don't need there to be millions of people that are looking for you. If your business and your capacity is 10 clients a year, great. Then you need to have XYZ conversations, and then can you make them into retainer clients? And now you're not looking to build 10 new clients every year. Maybe you're looking to replace 1 to 3.
Yes. Amazing. Okay, Kiley, how can everyone find you, work with you, the whole thing?
Yeah. You can learn more about me and Rain 9 at my website is kileypeters.com, Kiley Peters.com. Rain 9 is RAYNEIX.com. It's the Roman numeral 9. And we're very active on LinkedIn, so you can find us there as well. And again, we're focused on helping women launch their consultancies and helping women agency owners exit and plan for their exit of their business.
Love it. Thank you so much for just being with us today. You have shared so much, particularly around the productizing and setting yourself up in the future for the exit. And again, it gives so much clarity and declutters when you know where you want to go. And it can change. But again, it just keeps you focused. I really, really love that. So thank you. For everyone who is watching, we will be here next week. Yes, we'll be here next week. And we also have our free masterclass, the OBM opportunity, where we are walking you through how to become an online business manager and get clients all for free starting on January 27th. So I will put the link, or do you mind putting the link into the chat? There we go. Natalie, thank you. And yes, see you all there. Thank you, Kiley.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.